Hello? Leon? Hello? Leon? This is the part three, the conclusion of how I got here. Because there were just so many great stories. Yeah, so this is it. So next week I have to think of something cooler to talk about and be clever again. But as of right now, you get to hear my final story. It's the banking story, so I hope it don't bore you to death, but it actually was like, of course it's frustrating. If it wasn't frustrating, it wouldn't really be a story. So anyway, call up this bank. It was recommended to me. I got to sit down with a numbers person. This is good for me because I am a numbers person. I got a finance degree. I love to talk numbers, and this was great. Finally got to a place where I thought that I could afford a house, and this part of my life, this part of my house journey was great. It was optimistic, bright, was going to work. Then, once we found this house and decided to move forwards, I did not know this was going to happen, but I got transferred from my primary numbers contact that I had a really good working relationship with, and I got transferred to the document representative. And this lady was horrible. All right. Well, actually, let me sort of ease into this. Let me tell you the sort of frustrations that I felt from this transaction. The house that we had chosen. I did not know this at the time. I didn't even know this sort of resistance or this sort of hoop that I had to jump through existed. But for the loan that I was going to get, the program had to approve the condo association. And I didn't know this. We're doing some research on the websites and we're looking it up, and we don't really get a clear picture from the website whether it is or it isn't. And I don't know. And so I called the bank. I'm like, look, it's no skin off of my back if we proceed that it is approved. Once it gets to the program, they're going to make that final decision anyways. If it gets rejected, I still get my deposit back. I still get everything back. So I'm not really too worried about it. I'm just going to move forward like it is approved. And this is all with my numbers person. Once we actually did get transferred to the document person, of course, the number one question that she asked me is this condo association approved by the program? Look, I already went over this with the first person, so kind of get with it. That's when I knew that I was going to have problems. I just knew it. I was like, oh my God, they didn't talk to each other. They have no idea what our plan of attack is. The numbers lady, she would call me back. I would call her. If she didn't pick up, she would call me back shortly, that night usually. And then this document person would call me back when I'm at work. I'm like, no, can't talk right now. I'm at work. Oh my God, it freaking drives me nuts. She leaves at 4. I get home at 4, so I don't have time to talk to her. Look, I understand that people work, but if you're gonna say you're working until 4, then freaking work till 4. If I call you at 3:50, I expect you to answer the phone because you work until 4. If I call you at 4:02, okay, I understand. You gotta get out of there. But 3:50, no. Drove me freaking up a banana. I'm like, whatever, it's not gonna be long. I'm just gonna kind of get through it and be done with it. Still moving forward. We move again to a third person, our closing sort of coordinator. We're in our 30-day window of we need to close. I'm like, how can I prepare to close? Is there anything I can do? Is there any phone calls I can make to help push this along? I don't want to have any surprises. Do we have everything settled? Of course, they tell me yeah. And I see that we're all set up. And if there's nothing left on my end to do, I call her up and I said, hey, I want to move closing up. Let's move it to Friday. That way I have the weekend to move. And she's like, that sounds great. But I do not have, I forget what it's called, like a D11 or something like that. From the condo association that says all the condo fees are up to date and paid. The condo association is saying, yes, go ahead and do this. And I am just hearing about this like 2 weeks before close. I'm like, what the? Actually, I lied. I know I was saying it's the condo association, but the condo association doesn't actually collect the money. The management company above the association sort of collects and runs everything. So this management company is brand new. We just switched to a new one, and of course, they have no idea whether this condo has been up to date. And they're working really hard to get it, but because we had already planned on a later closing date, they decided to take Easter weekend off. What is going on in the world. This, like, I was, just gonna, yeah, it was like, really? 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 Everybody after the numbers person, the document person, and the closing person, they just did not seem to work with me well enough as I liked, and it was so frustrating. Closing ended up being on time, but not early, which is kind of disappointing. I wish I had moved earlier. So that's my story. So, anyways, miss your videos. I hope you come back from wherever, and I'll see you on Friday. No, it's my day. I'll see you on Tuesday, hopefully.